been 100 years since this thing started.
Grandpa, what thing you talking about?
Goat race and crab race, Malachi. You didn't know this is the goat race capital? Eh? It all started in 1925. Right there. Right outside they used to keep the goat race. At that time, Chan Street used to be called Village Street. It's the great Samuel Calendar who started the whole thing. He get the idea from the international horse racing, but he used the goat instead. Hey, you could guess who that is? It's your handsome grandpa from back in the day. I was a big runner, you know. A jockey to be exact. Boy, this was the apex of excitement around Easter time. The best food, the most fun, and the liveliest people from all over Tobago. Come, let me show you how we do it.
When I grow up, I go in and win the champ at champs. You feel we could come back next year?
Welcome back, viewers. I'm Julien Skeete, and yes, we've just gotten that sneak peek into our next interview here this morning, and certainly a collaboration between TPAC and E-Pixl. And we're happy to welcome on set Tabeel, animator of E-Pixl Studios, and Jared Prima, film director and interim CEO at the Tobago Performing Arts Company, TPAC. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. You know, it's the excitement on the face just looking here. And of course, me seeing it for the very first time. Jared, I want you to start first. Tell us about this collaboration that certainly captures an essential part of our history and our culture here in Tobago.
All right, well, good morning, everyone, again. So I was very excited when I got the call from E-Pixl saying that we want to do something cultural. And I'm like, okay, great, that's animation meets culture. And they said, well, you know, we have to collaborate with TPAC because we want to ensure that the performances, the voices, the songs, the nuances are captured in a way that will really captivate audiences and stand up on an international scale. So in we came, and we provided the voice acting. We provided the song score that you heard in the background, the nice little pan on the, that's OJ. Of course, you know OJ has to have a part in that. And of course, our artistic director, Ray Sean Pierre, guided the performances as well, and the Foley. So all the little songs, the little crunches, the little footsteps, the little goat pats, all of that was recorded and added. And that was TPAC's contribution to what I think is a really wonderful launch into cultural animation.
Certainly, and you know, people are very familiar with TPAC. And Tabeel, I want you to tell us a little bit more. Tell us about E-Pixl and then the inspiration that goes, you know, that went into this.
So, of course, E-Pixl Studio is a 10-seater animation studio in Tobago. We are located at Hooves. We work under EID Cut. And, you know, at our studio, we do not just animation, but we do things like game design and comics and concept art. There's so many things that E-Pixl Studio creates. And the inspiration behind Goat Race, of course, the Goat Race Festival was coming up, and we really wanted to do something we were commissioned. And you know, the funny thing is, while we sat down and we talked about what we could do, not all of us had experience going to goat race, actually. In fact, some of my co-workers, this year's goat race was the first time they went to goat race. And we really want to capture the first time experience. And I think the point of view of a child is like the best way to capture that. And we went down to the Buku facility, and while we were looking around, taking pictures, you know, referencing the area and so on, we met a young man by the name of Julien Beckles, who actually is one of the jockeys. He's pretty young, and he had a goat by the name of Fishbones, which in the animation, he's the winning goat, right? And he told us a really interesting story about this goat that they found that was like emaciated and like really thin, and you could see his rib cage, so that's why he got the name Fishbones. And he told us his story about growing up and always wanting to be a part of the goat race and really training hard and becoming an athlete to be able to participate. And you know, we kind of solidified that through the animation. You know, our goal at E-Pixl Studio is to animate culture and tell our stories.
I want you to tell us a little bit, Jared, how are we going to utilize something like this in terms of part of that greater importance with our cultural preservation?
Well, I think we started well right here at Tobago Update. So we want, of course, ensure that Tobago sees what is happening. What are the next steps in digital content creation that can tell our stories in ways that we can't even imagine to tell on stage. We have done so well in the performing arts. I know we want to go a step further, of course, through film, my baby, and then collaborating well with animation. We can travel to much further distances and screens. Yep. So I would say that the aim is to really do an international launch very soon and get this thing out there. And we're not talking about competing, eh? The aim is to get our culture on a world stage.
Indeed. And you know, in addition to that, I hope that there might be considerations even within our education system right here in Tobago, because I feel like that little snippet gives you the kind of exposure and information to just kind of give you a taste for the fact that you need to be, you need to come to be able to experience it. And I want to get from you, particularly the choice of using animation in the mix. I feel like, you know, I have heard persons sat down and done interviews and tell you about their story in relation to the goat races. Tell me how you feel that animation element has added even further to you know, getting that interest going.
Well, I think that people underestimate how far animation can really touch people worldwide. I mean, so many big animations come out of America and Japan. And if I were to use Japan as an example, a lot of Japanese anime has so many cultural aspects and so many folklore and stuff like that, to the point where young people all across the globe really are deep into Japanese anime and Japanese culture. And I think that Tobago culture and Tobago folklore has so many stories. Our festivals are so unique and fun, and we could use animation to not only tell that story, but get young people interested in our culture, get people feeling a sense of Tobago pride for our culture and the cool, unique, I mean, who else in the world has a goat racing festival? That's so unique, it's so cool, but it's all about shifting perspective using animation, so people don't just see it as just another lame thing because they're used to it, you know what I mean? So it's about taking animation and being able to brighten up and just add some flashing lights and, you know, design to the things that are already really unique and so rich for people to really enjoy it and feel a sense of pride and fun. And I think that animation really is the best outlet for that.
What are you hoping, Jared, will be the takeaway, you know, in terms of persons viewing this film, rather, whether I'm right here in Tobago, I'm in Trinidad and Tobago, I'm out there in the US, wherever this may go. What's the takeaway that y'all are certainly looking forward to?
Well, Tabeel touched on most of it. I think it's the intrigue, it's the uniqueness of our culture that we perhaps are not taking to the next level, so we have begun that process. And definitely I want to go as far, so I would always talk about film tourism, and this is now animation tourism. This is now us using excuse me, our digital mediums to really capture those wide audiences, and people will be like, okay, as Tabeel said, goat racing, I mean, when Maya came, he did it.
Right.
Now we have it in animation, so the kids will be like, Mommy, Daddy, I need to go to Tobago.
Exactly.
I want to see these goats racing. And of course, I hope you also saw the little crabs in the mix.
Yeah.
I want to see people try to get crabs to obey some kind of command. The intrigue that this animation is going to build will certainly play a very pivotal role in really adding to our tourism offerings, getting people interested, shine a light on Tobago to get people here.
Certainly. And Jared Brixton, what would have been that exposure coming out of your area of study? And I know that passion. Would you say this is part of that broader realization for the wide scope that TPAC, and that reach that you hope to achieve ultimately out of TPAC?
Oh, definitely. For me, animation is the next step. I mean, TPAC is already doing its part in terms of putting on the groundwork, acting, the dance is ready, the actors are ready, the music is coming on board, and of course film will launch pretty soon with some little secrets that we have coming. This does, this does a really good thing for us in terms of collaborating with E-Pixl, letting us get to flex and show people, okay, the same workflows that we're trying to promote, film workflows, they're the same thing for animation. Same process, same post-production energy, and of course, same marketing engine you put behind these things and let people know this is what we're doing. We are proud of Tobago. Come and share with us. And
Tabeel, Jared touched on something very quickly there before we get down to the final part of this interview. Speaking about that whole future prospects, giving us any sneak peeks, because when you do something like this, a collaborative effort between TPAC and E-Pixl, naturally people will be looking for more and more.
Of course.
Are there any ideas, upcoming projects that you'd like to speak to?
The thing about E-Pixl is that, we've been open for officially for just under a year, which is really impressive. The team and I are really proud of what we've done so far. And collaborating with TPAC was really, really helpful and resourceful, because we haven't done anything with really proper voice acting to this extent and the sound effects and stuff like that. And that was really cool to add that to our process. I mean, since we've opened, of course, we've done Tobago Heritage, we've done stuff for Tobago Carnival, we've done for Blue Food Festival, and, currently we're working on our own IPs to, once again, animate culture and tell our stories. So we're working on a project called Tobago Trek, which is a story about two people coming to a fantasy version of Tobago and experiencing the folklore characters in a whole new way that's never been done before. And then we also have Michaela and the Magic Pen, which we pitched at Anime Carib last year, and it's an animated series about a Tobagonian girl finding a magical book and pen, and granting wishes and going on adventures and stuff like that. So E-Pixl is really trying to create stories that are impactful and fun and youthful and exciting, that really lifts up Tobago in a different way on a global stage.
And I want you to tell me very quickly, when you put such a major message into animation, would you safely say that it's no longer limited to just children or those who traditionally, how some may have viewed animation?
Yes, of course. I mean, I think no matter how old you are, I think most of us could probably relate to at least one Disney movie, right?
Oh, definitely.
Right? So I think using animation to continue to tell even more relatable stories, because it's Tobago, the locations, I mean, you saw the animation, you can see the Buku facility. You've been there, some of us been there, and you can go there, and that's the exciting thing about Tobago-based animation. You can experience these things in real life. It doesn't stop at animation. You might not get ice powers like Elsa, but you can go to the Goat Raid Festival and experience the Champa Champs race and, and be a part of the festivities.
All right, certainly. And I'll give you the closing words, Jared. What can we look forward to?
Well, before I even jump there, I feel like I have to help Tabeel a little more because she's not mentioning Michaela and the B placed second.
Yeah.
Michaela and the B is an amazing
Michaela
IP
and the
that's
Magic
gonna come.
Pen, yeah.
And Michaela and the Magic Pen, my bad, I'm giving you the foreign name. Michaela and the Magic Pen plays second, which I think is an amazing next project, and I'm hoping that they're going to call me back for. So TPAC can really be a part of that.
Yeah, we need voice actors and all that good stuff.
Yes.
So we're talking about TPAC now, and TPAC has some amazing things coming up, including an arts festival, a major arts festival called Force. And Force, F-O-U-R-C-E, brings together the 4 departments of drama, dance, music, and film to showcase our culture and our arts to a whole new dynamic. a whole new audience. The idea is about networking, is about creative celebration. It's really going to be a big thing. So we're looking into the future with that. And I have some little secrets. Maybe some people might want a little nostalgic throwback, and they might see a little remake of Turn of the Tide, just for example. So things are coming.
Things to look forward to. It's always a kind of excitement here on set, and I'm hearing Jared talking, and I'm just wondering about the combination of the work Shaquille, Rayshawn, OJ, the entire team out there at TPAC, and I want to say congratulations indeed. It's one of those kind of interviews you're doing and you're learning, and you're actually excited while you're getting the information here first. And thank you so much again, Jared, Prima, and Tabeel Arthur for joining us here on set. This collaboration taking place between TPAC and E-Pixl. And in case you joined this interview late, we'll head on out of this interview with the video, certainly looking so you get a chance to see this production again.
Can you imagine? It's been 100 years since this thing started.
Grandpa, what thing you talking about?
Goat race and crab race, Malachi. You didn't know this is the goat race capital? Eh? It all started in 1925. Right there. Right outside they used to keep the goat race. At that time, Chan Street used to be called Village Street. It's the great Samuel Calendar who started the whole thing. He get the idea from the international horse racing, but he used the goat instead. Hey, you could guess who that is? It's your handsome grandpa from back in the day. I was a big runner, you know. A jockey to be exact. Boy, this was the apex of excitement around Easter time. The best food, the most fun, and the liveliest people from all over Tobago. Come, let me show you how they do it.
Grandpa, when I grow up, I go in and win the champs. You feel we could come back next year?